talk about the Wrath of Becky, which you guys can check out in theaters, and I believe it's also going to be on VOD this upcoming Friday. I mean, I guess that's a great segue to just to kind of share like general thoughts on this movie. Uh, does it stand up to the original for you? Like, what are your thoughts kind of coming out of the Wrath of Becky?
Literally I stopped the trailer about 20 seconds in. I didn't want any of the film to be ruined for me. So I went into it very, very cold, and I'll save things for spoiler talk, but there were things that I really, really liked about the progression of the film, especially like compared to who the bad guys were in the first one, what the bad guys were in this one, and how it was very relevant and stuff like that. I thought that was neat. I liked just seeing Becky grow up a little bit and see where she's at. We got Kevin James in the first one, and I think this one would have been awesome if we got like a Ray Romano or another, TV sitcom dad to fill the role, but we didn't. But the celeb that hasn't been around for a while that filled that role was fun to see. So it was gory. It was a nice progression in terms of villains. There was a lot of things that I liked. I don't think it's as good as the first film. It's around the same time, but it felt a little rushed and a little shorter compared to the first film. And I'm just hoping it's the sophomore film in a trilogy because it feels like there's a lot left on the table, and I'd be interested for them to get a chance to finish it out. I feel like there was things there were directions they could have gone in this one that they didn't necessarily go to, and it's not like I felt robbed, but I wasn't as like satisfied as I was with the first film at the end.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I definitely feel like there's so much more that they can do. And even like the way that the story setup is, when you look at the first film, it's very much that home invasion. When you look at this film, it's almost a straight up slasher.
Hmm.
And so like tonally, they're playing around with different things. I think there are things that this movie does better than the first film, and I think there are things that it doesn't do better. So I'm like very split on it. I agree with you. I think that it's nice seeing the progression of the world. I really like the confidence that Lulu Wilson has as Becky in this one. Thought she did a fantastic job. I even kind of like some of the other things, but it just felt like I don't know, to a degree, like it's really hard to talk about this without jumping into spoilers. I really think that this movie could have it's kind of, as you mentioned, like originally, like it's building up this mythology that I really liked about it. The ending to this is really kind of far-fetched and like really just over the top, and yeah, I do feel like this movie definitely feels rushed in certain places, but at the end of the day, it's a really fun film to say the least. Let's go ahead. Let's show our cards and let's do ratings. On a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give this?
I'd give it a solid three, 3.5. I mean, it's still enjoyable, but I mentioned I had some disappointments with it, but it certainly wasn't a letdown or anything. I got some things that I wanted out of it, and I wasn't done with the franchise afterwards. I still wanted some more, so I'd say 3.5.
I'm gonna go a 3. I think this movie has a really strong legs to stand on, and it really has a promising direction for the future of where they go, especially with how the character ends up at the end of it. But I agree with you. I think that there's a lot that this film kind of let me down on certain aspects, but then at the same time, like really just had me enthralled and like just drew me to the edge of my seat. I had an absolute blast with this. So